Hey, what's up, guys? Jake Hamilton here. It might look like I'm in Hell's Kitchen right now, but I'm actually in Burbank on the Warner Brothers backlot, which has been transformed to look like Hell's Kitchen, the perfect place to interview the cast of The Kitchen. I'm very excited to sit down with them, have a lot of fun questions. We're gonna have some fun. Before you start watching these, do me a favor, go down, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications. I have the great pleasure of traveling the world to interview some of the coolest people on the planet, and I really wanna share those interviews with you, and I want you to be the first to know whenever I get the interview, so it's gonna be a lot of fun. So before we get going, go down, hit subscribe, turn on your notifications, and enjoy my interviews here in Hell's Kitchen, kinda, with the stars of The Kitchen. Ladies, good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
So obviously both of you have been a part of amazing TV series where you got to sort of learn about your character and kind of study them over the course of multiple episodes and multiple seasons. And with a movie, you've got 2 hours, you don't have the time to do that. But if you could take these characters and get to know them over the course of 5 or 6 seasons and 13 episodes a season, what are some aspects of your character you'd like to kind of dive into and learn more about?
Oh.
I know. Oh my God.
Yours is.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to.
I don't know if I want to dive into that.
Fair enough.
I think, yeah. I mean, this film is kind of it is so dense and it is so interesting, and you're absolutely right. You could actually have 2 seasons worth of studying these women before their husbands go to jail and partners go to jail and have to kind of step up and take over, and it would be very, very interesting. You could have like a Sopranos style 7-season arc with these women.
I would love to go prequel. I would love to really see a longer run up to it, like kind of I weirdly would want to see childhood on. And then a few after. So I guess I'm looking for a 9 to 10 season deal.
Commitment.
Yeah.
So,
set it up.
I mean, we're literally on the Warner Brothers lot. Someone within like spitting distance should be able to make that happen. You'd think so.
Easy. We have the set.
I mean, it's right out there. It's really cool.
I've got my cell phone. It has a video camera.
Done.
It's cordless.
What more do you need these days? It's 2019, for God's sake. I love this idea of having to take over for your significant other after the person can't do the job anymore. And I've had the great pleasure of meeting your husband. He's a wonderfully nice guy.
I like him.
If he were to take over and play one of your roles that you've played in your career, which one would you like him to see if he could take on and play?
Wow, that's a great question. That's a doozy. Maybe the boss, because I'd love to see him as a redhead.
Yes.
And I'd love to see him really just so meticulous and just always preening. But I don't know. But God, that's a really good question.
It's a junket. I'm trying to spruce
it's
it up a
good.
little bit.
You just want to see him in wigs.
I really just want to see him in wigs. I've been trying to perm his hair for years, and he won't let me. Every time he does a character, I'm like, what if your character has a perm? He's like, stop it.
I swear to God, the next time we do a junket with him, if it's not a permed character, then I'm like, what are we doing?
Or we perm it at the junket, guys. I'm just
You
saying.
better do it during my interview. Yeah, I call dibs on that interview moment. Obviously, whenever you take on a role like this, I'd imagine you do a lot of research into the crime life and sort of see what it takes to survive in that moment. When you're done with this movie, is there, like, if we were to just throw you into that crime world, how far would you get? Is there any part of you that's like, yeah, I can do that?
I would run so fast in the other direction.
I'm a quick crier.
Yeah, never in a million.
Quick crier.
Like, I'm also like I'm just not a very violent or aggressive person.
Not with that attitude.
So I just feel like I wouldn't.
I see it.
That's a real situation.
Yeah, I saw it in the eyes on Mad Men. I was like, there's something there.
Yeah, it's hidden. It's very buried.
Don't you think like part of like the crime world involves acting in some sense? So like you've already got that skill down.
Certainly posturing.
Yeah.
I think there's so much. It seems to be of like, no matter what you're feeling, it is that thing of like present strong, present dominant, and like you have it all together.
Confidence. Also, there's a lack of emotion. I feel like a shutting down of emotion that you need in order to do certain things in that world, which is obviously the opposite of what we do.
Yeah, I would just spew it all out and be like, all right, guys, I'll tell you everything. Everything you need to know.
I'd be like doing bits and then it wouldn't end well.
There's another series I want to see.
Shut up, Melissa.
Ladies, you're always so kind to me. Seriously, thank you. I try to ask questions and hopefully they weren't too weird and wacky.
No, I love
You're
weird and wacky.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks. Always being so kind.
Appreciate it.
Good to see you again, my friend.
Good to see you too.
You know, I love this idea of a woman coming over and taking a job over that a man had that he can't do it anymore, and she comes in and does it bigger and better. If you could see an actress come in and take a role that you've had in your past and sort of see how she takes it on and what she does with it, what's the role you'd like to see and who's the actress you'd like to see pull it off?
Saoirse Ronan can play any part that I've done in anything better than I can. So yeah, give it to Saoirse.
I'd like to see her take on your role in The Revenant.
She'd kill it.
I feel like she would be like more
She
threatening
would
than
have
Tom
dealt
Hardy.
with. She would have dealt with Tom Hardy very, very well.
It would have been a 5-minute movie, and I would have been there for it, and she probably would have won an Oscar.
Yeah.
You have a great scene in this movie where essentially, like, you know how to cut apart a body, and then you sort of teach someone. So in a weird way, I'd imagine as an actor, you kind of at least know what you were talking about. What's like the weirdest skill you've had to learn because of the role that you've taken? I'd imagine that's up there.
That's pretty high up there. I had to do some well, I did a film called A Little Stranger where I was playing a doctor and I had to read some more stuff about doctors in the 40s, and that was really strange because I'm a long way from being a doctor. I don't know, you do lots of stuff. I have to drive in films and I hate driving.
Do you?
All
Why?
of it sucks. Because people are driving around in like metal bullets.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? Like it's not a good idea.
I live in Chicago. I walk everywhere. So
yeah, and I live in Dublin, so I do the same.
So whenever you're playing a doctor, or whenever you're talking to someone and explaining how you cut apart a body, do you really need to know what you're talking about, or do you just need to say it convincingly?
You just need to say it convincingly, but I had a couple ideas about the joints I was working with and how to work the knife in and around and through, and I'd watched a couple documentaries, including one about guys who used to do that.
No kidding.
Yeah, in the 70s in New York, and that was all about the lungs and taking out the lungs and doing all that sort of stuff. So I kind of knew what was going on.
That knowledge is now inside you, man. It's up there.
If you ever need help,
if I call you at 3 a.m., you know something's gone horribly wrong.
Or even Thanksgiving. I'm going with the turkey now.
Yeah, well, it transfers over for sure. This is a nerdy question, but obviously The Kitchen based on a DC graphic novel, DC comic book, which essentially means that you're in the same ballpark as Batman and Superman and The Flash and Green Lantern.
True.
If you could see your character cross paths with another famous DC character, who would you maybe just walk by on the street and see him glance at each other? Who would you most like to see your character?
Robert Pattinson the new
He is,
Batman?
yes.
Yeah. Have a conversation with him in the bar. I reckon they get on well.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's and that's Warner Brothers?
Perfect.
Done.
Guys.
Somewhere right now in the control room, there's a Warner Brothers guy going, we got to make this happen.
We got to sack that man immediately.
Yes. Done. Yeah. Absolutely done. So I'm going to flash back for a second because and I was just telling the crew this and they can testify, one of my go-to cry movies is About Time. I think it is an absolutely beautiful film. I'm a sucker for father-son stories. Right. Your scenes with Bill and I had the pleasure of interviewing Richard Curtis earlier this summer for Yesterday. I got to tell him all about it. And everyone makes fun of me for just turning into a puddle of a man watching that movie. I'm curious as to maybe what your go-to cry movie is. What scenes make you cry? And could you tell my friends that it is okay that I cry at that movie?
Of course it's okay that you cry at that movie. I think a lot of men cry at that movie.
Do you get that a lot?
Yeah. A lot of people like that. The relationship with the father means a lot to people. And I think that's just Richard being a genius. I think he wrote a beautiful, beautiful film. Films that I cry at, E.T. made me. When I was a kid, I would punch my brothers when they would put it on because I knew that it would make me cry. And I didn't like the feeling. So probably.
And those kids at the end, they're really legit crying. Spielberg just put a camera in their face and just said action, and they're actually because they shot everything in chronological order.
Have you seen his audition?
Yes.
Oh man.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's
That's
amazing.
awesome. Dude, you're always so fun to talk to. Thanks for geeking out with me.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.